Introduction to computer network. Computer. A computer network is a group of devices connected with each other through a transmission medium such as wires, cables, etc. Now, these devices can be computers, printers, scanners, fax machines, and etc. The purpose of having computer network is to send and receive data stored in other devices or over the network. So these devices are often referred as node. So basically the computer network means what? It is the group of computer which is connected together, and they are connected together to share the resources of the network. Resources of the network can be many things like files, data, we can say printers, scanners, and other machines, and fax machines or something like that. So these devices which is available in the network, so these are the resources which everyone wants to use in the network, and the purpose of that, they will be connected together. So connected together so that they can send and receive data. And whatever the devices connected together in the network, we call them as a nodes. We refer them as a nodes. So every device in the network we referred as a nodes. Now computer network is a telecommunication channel using which we can share data with other computers or devices connected to the same network. It is also called data network. The best example for computer network is internet. Computer network does not mean a system with one control unit connected to multiple other systems as its slave. That is distributed system, not computer network. So remember, computer network means connected multiple devices together. It is not like one is a master and others are the slaves. It is not like that. It is like same, all the machines are same, and that is what computer network. If you say like the one is the master and others are the slave, these type of network is called distributed systems. So this is distributed system, not computer network. So computer network means when all the devices are connected together just like the same devices. Now a computer network must be, a computer must be able to meet certain criteria. They are mentioned below. For example, first, performance. It can be measured in the following ways. Transit time. First, transit time. It is the time taken to travel a message from one device to another. So performance we can measure by the transit time. Transit time, that means when the message goes from one machine to other machine. So how much time it will take the message to reach from one machine to other machine. This is called transit time. Then response time. It is defined as the time elapsed between inquiry and response. That means when one machine sends a request, the other machine sends the response to that request. So how much time it will take, that can be considered as a performance. Then efficiency of software. It is not only the devices we use for the network, it is the softwares are also used. So efficiency of the softwares are also important to measure the performance. Then number of users, then number of users connected to the network, then capability of connected hardware. Then performance can be measured by the capability of connected hardware also. Then reliability. Now reliability, it decides the frequency at which network failure take place. More the failures are, less is the network's reliable. So it is also depend on reliability, that how much reliable the network it is. So if you face the lots of failures, lots of disconnect, that means the network is not reliable. Scalability, it defines how easy you can add more nodes in network and extend network if required. Then data sharing. One of the reasons why we use the computer network is to share the data between different systems connected with each other. So other through a transmission media. This is the main reason, or we can say one of the main reason we are using the networking, because we want to share the data. Then the backup. A computer network must have a central server that keeps the backup of all the data that is to be shared over the network, so that in case of a failure it should be able to recover the data faster. Backup is always important for any kind of network or any kind of environment where you can keep your data safe and you can recover it from after the failure of any kind. Then software and hardware compatibility. A computer network must not limit all the computers in a computer network to use same software and hardware. Instead, it should allow the better compatibility between the different softwares and hardware configurations. Then the security. Security, computer network should be secure so that the data transmitting over a network from unauthorized access. Also, the sent data should be received as it is at receiving node, which means there should not be any loss of data during transmission. So these are the criteria for the network to must meet these criteria. Then computer network architecture. A computer architecture is a design in which all computers in a computer network are organized. Architecture defines how the computer should get connected to get the maximum advantage of computer networks, such as better response time, security, scalability, etc. The two most popular computer architectures are P2P, that is peer to peer, and the second one is client server architecture. And also now we have collaborative computing also. Now first, peer-to-peer network. In peer-to-peer architecture, all the computers in a computer network are connected with every computer in the network, where computer in the network use the same resources as other computers. There is no centralized computer that act as a server, rather all computers act as a server for the data that is stored in them. In this type of architecture, peer-to-peer, it is actually in Windows environment, it is called workgroup, where all the machines are their administrators. So no control, all the machines are their own administrator. So one machine will not have any control on other machines. They are only connected together to just share the data. Share the data from one, share the resources and data. So in this environment, we don't have any server kind of thing, and there is no centralized policy, centralized server, centralized anything which is controlling these machines. So they are itself there are server. Like when somebody is sharing the file, so it is it is called a server, because it is serving the file, serving the data to other machines. So server means what? The server means the device which serves the services. So when in a work group, when a peer-to-peer connection, when any machines share the data, it calls the server also. So all of them can be called as a server, and all of them can be called as a client. So they share the data and also they receive the data. So in this environment, it is called peer-to-peer network, or in Windows environment, it is called work group. Next is client server architecture. In client server architecture, a central computer acts as a hub and serves all the requests from client computers. All the shared data is stored in the server computer, which is shared with the client computer when a request is made by the client computer. So all the communication takes place through the server computer. For example, if a client computer wants to share the data with other client computer, then it has to send the data to server first, and then the server will send the data to other clients. In Windows environment, it is called the domain environment, where you have a single server which is managing all the other clients in the network. So whatever the clients wants to do, they want to share the data, they want to use the services or whatever, they will go through the server. and server has all the controls on all the datas and services. So everything here is the centralized, and we can say it is the centralized network and centralized architecture. Then we have collaborative. Next is collaborative computing. A new model. This is a new model called collaborative computing. It is also called cooperative processing and is becoming an important trend. Collaborative computing is a synergetic type of distributed computing where networked computers actually share processing abilities. Instead of simply communicating data between computers, collaborative computing uses two or more computers to accomplish the same processing task. It is also called clustered network. Clustered network where we have multiple nodes and they do the same processing. They do the processing for the same application. For example, suppose we have a web server. Now, in old days, like web servers serve the websites. Now, if you have a web server, now you have lots of users using the web servers. If suppose the web servers are used or accessed by thousands of different users, now this web server is very important for us. This is also important for us that we cannot afford that server to get down. So we have lots of load on the server also, and then we want the server to make sure the server is always running. We don't want to disable the server. We can't afford it to get down the server. So now we have this collaborative computing where we do what? We use multiple nodes of server to process the single application. So the application like the web server, so it is a web server, so application is we can say the web application. So that web application, the single web application will be processed by multiple servers. Benefit of this is that it is using the processing power of multiple servers to process single application, so it will work fast. Then it can handle lots of requests also. So if your web server is busy and it is getting lots of requests from thousands of different users, then it can handle all those requests, because single server is not possible to handle all the requests. So we have what? Multiple servers which is handling the request simultaneously. So they are getting what? They are getting the load balancing. So load of the server, load of the application will be divided into those multiple nodes within collaborative computing. Then it will give one more benefit, that if suppose one server gets down, then the application will remain running from the other server. So the application will never down. So application will always available, it will always get running. You can see those most of the sites, most of the application, for example those Facebook, Google, you will not see that those servers are getting down, because they're using these multiple nodes in a collaborative network so that they keep running. If one server goes down, other server will take over. Then also those servers do the load balancing so that it can handle those thousands of requests. So these are the computer architectures we have. Then the next is type of computer network. A computer network is a group of computers connected with each other through a transmission medium such as cable and wire, etc. So the communication network can be of following 5 types based on area and ownership. Now we have these different types of computer network. Now remember, these different type of networks are divided based on types, based on the area and ownership. So first is personal area network, then we have local area network, then we have campus area network, we have metropolitan area network, then we have wide area network. Now remember that these types of network, they are divided based on area and ownership. So first, personal area network. It is also called PAN, personal area network. So personal area network is a computer network for interconnecting devices centered on an individual person's workspace. A PAN provides data transmission among devices such as computers, smartphones, tablets, and personal digital assistant. PANs can be used for communication among the personal devices themselves for the or for connecting to a higher level network and the internet where one master device takes up the role as gateway. A PAN may be wireless or carried over wired interface such as USB. So this PAN is actually it is personal workspace. It is for the individual's person's workspace. Like we can say that whatever the network you spread within the on your table, within your table or within the range of your hands, it can call personal area network, where you can connect your computer through the printer, through mobile, the other devices the wireless devices. So it can be called as a PAN. Now, what is the range of this PAN network? We can say that within the room, within the single room, whatever the network you spread, it could be we are having a wireless network here. We set up the wireless gateway there, and we are using connecting by that we are using the internet, or we connected to the internet also. And then through the USB we are using the other devices to be connected. So within the range of your hand, we can say, if you spread your both hands and within the range of your hand whatever the network you spread, we can call it a PAN network. We can call it a network which is spread into into your table, into your personal workspace. It can be a single room also. So it is called PAN. Then we have LAN. Now, LAN means local area network. Local area network is a group of computers connected with each other in a small place such as a school, hospital, apartment, etc. LAN is secure because there is no outside connection with the local area network. Thus, the data which is shared is safe on the local area network and can't be accessed outside. LAN, due to their small size, are considerably faster. Their speed can range anywhere from 100 Mbps to 100 to 1000 Mbps. LANs are not limited to wire connection. There is a new evolution to the LANs that allows local area network to work on a wireless connection. So within a small area, or we can say small area, like we can say hospital, school, apartment, or a small room, whatever the network we spread, we can call it a LAN network. We can say the range of this network is, we can say, 50 to 100 meters. So within the 50 to 100 meters, whatever the network we spread, we can say like the whole floor, a single room or a whole floor, whatever the network we spread, or a whole building, we can call it a LAN network, where we have different devices like PC, switches, servers, printers, and even we can connect it to the internet through the gateway device, through the router. And not only the wired network we can use the wireless network also. Then the next network type is campus area network. Now a campus area network is larger than the local area network. LAN, since it may span multiple buildings within a specific area. So most CANs are comprised of several LANs connected via switches and routers that combines to create a single network. They operate similar to LANs in that user with access to the network, wired or wireless, can communicate directly with other systems within the network. So this campus area network is actually little larger than the LAN. It is larger than the LAN, that means it is spread under the multiple buildings. Multiple buildings, we can say the campus of the university, we can say the campus of any organizations where they have multiple buildings there, and they are connected together. Now we can say that this building, now on a single building we can say it's a LAN network. Then when we connect all these multiple other buildings within the campus, then we can say that this is the campus area network. But basically it works like a LAN. It is actually LAN network, which is a larger area, which is covering larger area than the normal LAN connection. So it can range up to 100 meters to 500 meters or 1000 meter. So it is what, it is larger than the LAN area network, but it actually works as a LAN. So in within the building, suppose the network is LAN, then when we combine 2-3 buildings, 4 buildings, then we can call it as a CAN. We can call it as a campus area network, but basically it is still a LAN network which is connecting larger area than the normal LAN connection. Then we have MAN. MAN means Metropolitan Area Network. MAN network covers larger area by connection LANs to a larger network of computers. In Metropolitan Area Network, various local area networks are connected with each other through telephone lines. The size of the Metropolitan Area Network is larger than LANs and smaller than WANs, Wide Area Network. A MANs cover the larger area of the city or town, and it is why it is called Metropolitan Area Network. Now what we have in Metropolitan Area Network, it is larger than the LAN. Larger than the LAN, but it is actually, again, it is joining the small LANs together and spreading the network through all over the city or town. Then it is called the Metropolitan Area Network. They are connected through these mobile lines and wire lines, also telephone lines, through the telephone lines. So basically it is actually small lines which is connecting to join the whole over to the whole city or large area like city or town. Then it is called the Metropolitan Area Network. This Metropolitan Area Network might be distributed by the different users, different vendors, but it is owned by the single organization. Like in local areas, suppose they are using different vendors are using the LAN, and then they are connected to the large area of the city. So the vendor of this the organization, they can be a single organization which is controlling this, but for the single area different vendors are managing this as a LAN. So we can call it as a Metropolitan Area Network, but basically again it is the LAN network. Then we have the last type, which is WAN. Now WAN means Wide Area Network. Wide Area Network provides long distance transmission of data. The size of the WAN is larger than LAN and MAN. A WAN can cover country, continent, or even a whole world. Internet connection is an example of WAN. Other examples of WAN are mobile broadband connections such as 3G, 4G, etc. So basically when you connect your network through all over the world, then it is called WAN connection. Now internet is also a type of WAN, but what WAN we are talking about is the private WAN. Now remember, we have said before that these types are divided based on what? These types are divided based on the area they cover and the ownership they have. So basically when we say the PAN network, so PAN network, that means I said the PAN network is a network where you spread on the table, your own table. So we can say it's your personal area network. Now if suppose in a room you are having multiple tables where different people sits, so if they are using their own, they are spreading the network on their own table, so we can say these PANs are for them, like the owners of that PAN will be the different. So within the network, within the single room, we can have multiple different PANs. But I have also said that the PAN can be spread into a room also, a small room. So when you are having a small room where you are spreading the network, where your owner and proprietary is the single owner, like you are the owner who is spreading the network, the whole network is yours, then we can say it is a single PAN. Then we have a LAN which is larger than the PAN. Now again it is based on the ownership and the area it covers. Now suppose where we have one room, So I said it is also LAN. But if you are spreading the network within the whole floor, then we can still call it LAN. Then if you spread the network within the whole building, all the floors of the building, then still we can call it as a LAN. Now it is based on the proprietary, that if suppose in first room, if in a single room of the floor we have a different company, different owner, and other rooms are owned by the different owners, then we can say that this is different LAN and that is different LAN. But if suppose a single company is owning the whole floor and they are spreading the network within the whole floor, then we can say this is what the single LAN. Now second floor, the third floors, fourth floor, the other floors may have different LANs because the ownership is different. Now if you're owning the whole building and the network you spread within the whole building, so you are the owner, you're the single owner and proprietary of the whole network. So you can say that this is the single LAN. Then again, when you spread the network in larger area than the single building, you spread it into the multiple buildings, then we can say it is a campus area network. But basically it is again what it is, the combination of multiple LANs. Then metropolitan area network is also same as the LAN, but it is actually what combined of the spread of the area is that larger than the other the normal LAN. It is actually spread over the whole city or town. But basically it is what small LANs which is connecting together to spread the network over the city or over the town. But again it is what owned by the single owner, so it is called the single LAN. Now same as for WAN, because suppose you are if your company is trying to connect your network throughout over all the world, like suppose you are having an office in Europe, and you are having an office in Asia, you are having an office in America. Now you want to connect them together. They are different continent, they are very far away. So now when you want to connect them together, then what you are doing, you are using WAN connection. That means you are spreading the cable from America to Europe to Asia. Now we will say that it is not easy for us to spread the cable from the one continent to other continent. So basically it is already spreaded. It is spreaded by the international ISPs, and they have already spread the cable all over the world. They have already connected the world through the cables. Now what we do, actually we get the lease line from them. So if suppose I want to connect my company office from the America to Europe, then what I will do, I will go to ISP and I will get the lease line from them. So they will do whatever the cable they have spread it within the two continents, they will give us a lease line from it. Now it is called lease line because it is on lease. It is not the ownership they will give. Now they will give you based on the money they will take based on the size, the speed of the LAN, speed of the network, and the range the area it covers. So the price for the WAN connection, price for the lease lines are based on the area the range it wants to travel, and the area it wants to travel, and also the speed we want. Now that is very expensive, very expensive, because when you get a line, when you get the lease line, it is your own line. That means nobody else will use it, and ISP will make sure that the line will always be available to you. And that is why it is called personal area network, personal WAN, private WAN, because with your WAN nobody else can use the connection. Now internet is also an example of WAN connection, but internet is actually public WAN. Public WAN, that means anyone can use that line. Anyone can use the line. You can just connect the line, you can connect that line, and you can use that line to send the data and receive the data all over the world. It is a public network. Problem for this public network, because it is not secure for the companies to use it, because they want to send the data confidential also, so they can't use the public network. So these organizations can't use those public network like internet WAN to send and receive their confidential data, because in an internet connection that is actually public WAN, anyone can join the WAN and anyone can use that, and anyone can see what others are doing, what they are sending and receiving, they can see all. So it is not secure to use that, and also internet is not giving you the security like the reliability that every time it will be available for you. So companies uses WAN connection, they use the lease lines, that is what their private WAN. Internet is not a private WAN, it is actually the public WAN. So instead that the WAN connection, these lease lines are very expensive than the internet connection. Internet connections are not that expensive as compared to the WAN connection. But WAN connections, organizations take the WAN connection because of security and also availability and reliability. So these WAN connection considerably from the LAN, it is slower than the LAN. Why it is slower than the LAN? Because it is expensive. You can get the maximum speed, you can get lots of speed also, but you have to spend lots of money for it also. But in a LAN network, what the speed you will get is based on the devices you use and the transmission medium you use in the LAN network. So it is not depending on the ISP that who is giving you the speed or bandwidth. It is actually depend on you that what devices you use in the LAN network. So you can get lots of speed, you can get from 100 Mbps to 1 Gbps, 1000 Mbps speed and more than 1000 Mbps speed. But in a WAN network you will not get that speed. If you want that speed, then you have to pay lots of money. So these are the different types of network we have. And this is the introduction of computer network. So this is the introduction of the computer network. What are the type of computer network we have, what are the architectures, and what is exactly computer network it is.